for the fire me. Oh my baby say you do fine, no. Papa got to take it on me design you. But I need the help, I need.
Boom, yeah, you know what time it is, your favorite accurate, aka Koros, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Scopatumana Ep2, and thank you so much for the love on the first episode. We love you guys so much. A little bit of changes here in the second episode. We are getting rid of one of our cast, and we're replacing the person with Tommy, and Tommy is gonna be on Scopatumana constantly. It's gonna be on order of the episode, and we're missing one more person because of exams, because it's exam period. And a big shout out and thank you to everybody that are out here today that showed up for this second episode. And today we have a guest. Say hi to Sarah, guys. Hi, Sarah.
Hi.
Welcome to Scopatumana episode 2. As you can see, this is the Christmas edition. Everybody's got their hats, scarves, everybody looking Christmas-ish, yeah? On the relationship segment today, the first question is, can you date somebody with a child?
I don't think there's anything wrong with it, to be honest. I feel like it's totally normal to date someone with a child. If you love kids, though, like, it's not like you're forcing yourself into something that you don't already know the situation. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
So what about you personally? Would you date somebody with a child?
Of course, like, I love kids, so for sure.
I don't know, I'd say it depends. Like, for me, honestly, personally, I wouldn't want to date somebody with a child, because I'm thinking long term. And in long term, like, whoever the mother of the child is still going to be in the child's life. Like, they're going to be in the child's life, and then that means there's like a connection between my partner and somebody else, because there's a child in between them. And I don't think I want that kind of complication if I'm with somebody.
So even if you love the person so dearly,
fall in love with you when you've told me.
Oh, so because
unless you lie, but like, if you've told me straight up I have a child, sorry, there's no way for that.
So the person loves you so much, and just because the person has a child, there's no way you're dating that person ever.
Like, I would rather not.
So all of you baby daddies, don't come to Fisaya. She'll say no to you.
Like,
She'll break your heart. Don't waste your time.
It depends on how I feel about him. And I love children too, so yeah.
Will you date somebody with a child, or you would not date somebody with a child? Why would you date somebody with a child?
Because it depends on how I love the person.
Before you start dating the person, you would know if they have a child or not. And at that point, you've not fallen in love yet. So will you allow yourself fall in love when you know they have a child or not?
Actually, no. But if only
Now you are contradicting yourself.
No,
which one, Gongoni?
You know, some people actually lie, right? They won't let you know and stuff. So, and what can you do?
But
maybe
the reason why they lie
the
is because of what you guys just said. If they tell you straight up that they won't date someone with a child,
you're on the way.
If you lie, that's the more reason why I don't even want to be with a liar. Because you're a liar.
Why
would you lie about that kind of stuff?
That makes sense. This is getting really, really interesting. We'll go to
everyone is open-minded. I think that they won't have to lie. Just like, let's say you have a child now, and you're not like you're not married, or you're single, you have a child, and then so many doors close at you. Some people get frustrated. I'm like, why would I tell you I have a child when you just like leave?
Shut the door.
Anyways,
you don't need to tell me we're friends, but if we're getting into a relationship, I'm sorry, that's vital information that you have to tell me.
Okay.
And if you don't tell me, then you can be lying about other things. Then you're probably a serial liar at the end of the day.
Serial liar.
Will date someone with a child? It didn't say like if the person lied about the child or if they don't have a child, right?
Assuming you know.
Assuming you know. So like if they tell you from the get-go,
exactly.
I have a child, will you date me? I have a child. That's
beautiful. No twisting.
It depends on
no
my feelings to the person. I can't.
You will, depending on your feeling. Your feeling on what level, on like, express yourself. Let us know what level of feelings would you date somebody with a child.
Maybe if the baby mama is no longer in the world.
No, not even in the
so
world.
you would kill the baby mama.
I know. If they're not together.
Oh, so you would kill the baby mama to be with the person you love.
I'm saying maybe before I came into the picture, she's no longer.
You just call somebody a serial liar now. You look more like a serial killer.
No.
Okay.
Like, yours come with consequences, right? Like, you don't want to date someone with a child that has something to do with the baby mother. You want the baby mother out of the question.
Out of the okay. So you would not mind dating somebody with a child if
the baby mother is out of.
Please, guys, if you ever like Fisayo and you have a baby mama, please run.
But let me ask you something.
Run.
What if the baby mother has moved on? She's already in another relationship.
Right, in another marriage.
Then I can. Yeah.
Okay,
Be careful.
Personally, in general, I feel like there's nothing wrong with dating someone that has a child, depending on where you are in life and, you know, if you're ready for that kind of commitment. Personally, me, 0. I'm not doing it. It's not possible. Because I know where I am in life. I know that I'm not ready for that kind of commitment. And yeah, just it's too much.
Cut your coat according to your size.
Yeah,
Clap.
man.
Tommy. I like that.
That's it.
For me, Koros, honestly, I have done it before. I'm not gonna lie about it. And it wasn't that bad, honestly. I've talked to somebody with a child before. But it wasn't that bad. But at the end of the day, it's just the attention and everything is not.
End up number 2.
It's not even. Like any little thing. Oh, my son. I mean, the son is a sweetheart. He was a really, really good guy. He likes me too and all of that. But at the end of the
How
day,
old was he?
7.
So how old was
older
she?
He watches my YouTube videos and he liked it and everything, but that wasn't even the case. But I don't have a problem dating somebody that has a child, provided that I'm not getting affected in any way. You get what I mean?
Can I ask you a
There's no
question,
how
though?
you're not going
Can
to
I
get
ask you a
affected.
question?
Sure.
If you date somebody with a child, right? Do you think you can love that child like as if it was your own child?
No, it's not possible, honestly.
I think it's possible though.
it's
It is.
100%.
I think it's possible.
Because you
It's
can
possible
think
to
of
love a
other
child that is not
people's
yours.
stuff.
Yes, it's possible.
Yeah,
People
it is.
adopt and love the
It
children
is.
like as if it's their own children.
Yeah,
A
it
child
is.
doesn't have to come from you or like
Exactly,
from
yeah.
your whatever sperm or from your distance to be your own child. A child, you can adopt a child. Or
Yeah, and you love them.
I have done it before and I'll still do it if I have to. As long as I'm in love with you, I like you. Either you have a child or not, will not stop us from being together and loving each other. What about you, Saka? I know you probably have tons, thousands to say about
Well,
this.
for me, I am not ready to be anybody's number 2. Honestly, all moms put their children first. I assume all moms put their children first.
100%.
So when it comes to a matter of me or your child, I'm going to end up not being the one. So let's say, God forbid, they come to rob us. Pick one of them. She's always going to pick a child.
That's crazy.
Saka has given us this. This is crazy.
For me,
Scenario.
no, I'm not dating
Crazy.
anyone with a
Saka would never ever date somebody that does that has a child.
He has a valid point for that. And that makes
A really
sense.
great valid point. That makes sense. Next segment is the sexual segment. So which one should I pick? It's really tough for me. Oh. Does having sex on the first date make you cheap? What do you think about that?
No, I don't think so. It depends on the chemistry. Because
Chemistry.
you guys might like.
First day she gonna make you check cause she grown.
Yeah, it depends on the chemistry. Like you might like meet someone for the first time and like the person more than like usual. You can't know everyone like because I'm going to date this person. You should not be waiting. I want to know this person. You can't know the person like 100%.
Let me get this
even
right.
If you like do it, no, I'm not saying. I know what you're saying. Like date. I'm just trying to like prove a point.
Would you have sex on the first date?
I just-
Does that make you cheap? Having sex on the first date, does it make you cheap?
No.
No, because
It
I
doesn't.
feel like
It
okay,
doesn't.
even if you don't, does it make you cheap?
First things first, we're adults.
I
We're
don't think
allowed
so.
to do whatever we want to do, how we want to do it. Like, we shouldn't have to explain to anybody. We shouldn't have to feel a certain type of way for doing something normal.
That's true.
Do you understand? Like, we've grown up in a culture where, like, it prohibits stuff like that. So, like, it's embedded in our brains that it's
Intellectual,
a bad thing.
intellectual.
It is not a bad thing.
I
It's
love it.
okay
Preach, 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 preach.
to be an
That is
adult
beautiful.
And have sex on the
I
first
don't know
day
what-
with your partner or whoever it is that you want to do it with. Because it's normal. It's okay.
This question, okay, you said doesn't make you cheap, but you know, before the first date, you can actually like know somebody, and then go on the first date. So the first date is not like the first time you guys are meeting
That's
each
true,
other.
that's true, that's
You
true.
could have known each other before, like maybe once or twice or whatever, and then go on your first date, and then you have sex because you enjoyed your first date.
Okay,
There's
so
nothing wrong with that.
will you going out on the first date does not make you cheap, right?
No, me, I can do it. So I
You
don't think-
being going out on the at least you are being honest and you are being straightforward
I don't
about
think
it. A lot of
that's
people
wrong.
will lie and
I
go
can do
conny.
it.
They will not be straightforward. Thank you for being very honest.
I just don't like the fact that it's
brought
added with the whole being cheap thing because like we shouldn't have to think about stuff like that. Like you meet someone, you do what you need to do. Like you don't have to explain anything to anybody or like explain anything to yourself that I'm doing something bad. It depends on like if you walk up with the next person and be like, okay, it's a mistake. You guys go your both ways.
You move on.
You move on with your life. You meet the next person. Like just like in life, like most women have to like kiss a million men to meet the one. Like, and that's okay. Same thing with men. They sleep with a bunch of women just to find the one person. And then no one's telling them that, oh, you're cheap.
Yeah.
Like, we don't have to, like, make it seem like it's a bad thing.
Check.
Just to meet someone and being yourself with the person.
And like, notice how the first date question, does it make you cheap, is kind of aimed at girls. Why is it not making the guy cheap too?
Yeah.
Or guy, you have
Can
your
be
choices
cheap too.
too.
That's the way guys like put it. They're
Well-
like, oh, once you meet the girl the first time and you have sex with her.
But, like, the guy's also in the
She's
sex.
cheap.
Like,
But
you
the
don't have
guys-
sex with her. Like, you guys have
You have
sex
sex
with each
together.
other.
Have sex with each other.
If
It's
she's
a-
cheap,
like,
you two, you're cheap.
You're cheap.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cheap. So, like, let's move on.
Well, for me, I don't know why this question is still coming up. I've heard it so many places. Like, are we still in 1920?
For me, I don't think having sex on the first date it makes a girl cheap anyways. Like
Or a
Tommy
guy.
said, or a guy cheap. Make anybody cheap at the end of the
Thank you very
day.
much.
The connection you guys have, the type of chemistry you have, I would say, honestly. As much as I hate to use that word chemistry, I'll still use it. Depends on the chemistry you guys have, the connection, the spark you guys have, that can actually lead to anything. We're adults. I mean, I'm 21. Like, no one will tell me what to do. Sex is not even planned at the end of the day. It happens naturally. If you guys are caught having sex, you're caught having sex. It's happened. You guys should do it as long as you are enjoying it.
What do you even
No,
mean
some
by
people
cheap?
plan with them.
Exactly.
What
Like,
do you
I
mean by
know,
cheap?
like, what is
What do you mean by cheap?
Playing how to get.
So, I feel like on the first date, or the first time you guys hang out, like Fisal said, you guys can already have a connection, but that first date is the first time you're actually spending time together, or it's what you're calling the first date. If something happens that day, then it happens. It's just like that. You've already built a connection. If it happens, it happens. But personally, I don't like to do those types of things on the first date, just personally, because I want to still, get to know you. I don't want you thinking, oh, this guy, he's just waiting for, wanted to talk me up before he puts me inside the bedroom. No, that's not it.
And that's your
Yeah,
way,
some
right?
guys-
So, like, everyone's different. Like, we're all human beings. Like, you don't have to do the same thing. You might like a certain thing. You might not like a certain thing. And you don't have to associate it with the next person being a certain type of way. Like he said, he just wants to wait. He just wants you not to feel like he's rushing you.
Yeah.
And that's okay, right? And then the other person, you want to rush into it, that's okay as well.
Go ahead.
So,
Russell.
So, Koros, if you go on a date with a girl the first day and you sleep with her, does that make her cheap?
No, not at all. It does not make her cheap in any way. It's just the type of vibe and the connection you guys have. I've had sex on first dates before.
Did you date the person?
I know of a guy that
I
actually
dated
said, oh,
I dated one of them for like a year, but the rest maybe not.
Why?
Not because we.
Do you know why
Because
we
of
keep
the
guessing
sex,
this
just maybe it didn't
question?
work out.
Because when a guy sleeps with a girl on the first date, he's assumed that the guy is not going to contact the girl anymore.
exactly. And it's also embedded in the girl's brain, too.
Yeah.
Like, it
Yeah,
It's just
I was gonna say-
exactly.
I was gonna say
Somehow,
that,
yeah.
But that
because
comes
there's
from
some
bad
guys that
I
actually
know
don't
bad
want to-
experiences. Bad
Yeah,
experiences.
and
When-
that's
once
also
they do
other,
it with you,
other part of experience.
they won't talk
right,
to you again.
right,
I don't
right.
know why.
No, those ones
Some
were
guys.
Just,
That's-
those
that's-
were just after the
That's what I'm
sex.
saying. You have to know
Yeah.
exactly, like she
That
said.
means that's exactly
you
what
have
they
to know
want.
exactly what you're
And
getting
some
yourself
people
into
just
from the
plan it.
get go. You have to know the kind of person that he is.
If you want
so like,
sex,
if he's the kind of person that's just in it for the sex and then he cuts you off,
Exactly.
and then you already know that okay, that's the kind of guy that he is. And then if it's a mutual thing that you guys decide that you know what, because it's not always the fact that the guy doesn't want it, or like sometimes the girl doesn't want you to contact her, so like she doesn't make the contact. Right, so then everybody just goes silent.
That's where communication comes in. If you
want
let the
sex,
girl know right from the
say it.
beginning,
Yeah, if it's like, oh, I just want to smash you, let's smash you.
she already knows. You don't have to.
That is really good. I think we should actually cultivate the habit of actually telling a girl,
Communicating.
communicate with
like
them,
being
like,
upfront.
what do you
like,
want? Is
don't
it sex
string
you
the
want?
person along.
But
Do you
girls
want
have-
to
girls have
be
been
with me?
advocating for that for the
Yeah.
longest
Exactly.
time.
I feel
I
like
don't think it will ever happen.
Yeah.
It's
And
just
let
not
us
it
talk
something-
will. Don't be negative about it. It definitely
It won't,
happen.
because you people will still
It
lie.
probably will not be
It's
perfect.
not
It probably will not be perfect 100%. Not everybody will be honest about it, but
That's the thing. It's this generation that we are nowadays. Like no one wants to look like the weaker link, right? So like the other guy is thinking, she's probably too hot. Like do you know what I mean? And the other person's thinking, I don't know what they're thinking, but I'm just like, it's the world that we live in today. Like no one's gonna be straightforward and upfront because everybody has bad intentions. That's what we're
Exactly.
living on. We're living on bad.
not
intentions.
everybody.
Nobody wants to be
Most people have
straightforward.
bad
Yeah.
intention.
Most people.
It's like imagine a girl
know about
dating a
that,
guy
so-
for his money. Do you think she's going to be like, I'm with you for your money?
For your-
Just so you know.
I know.
Like nobody's going to say that.
And on the reality segment, this question I don't know. I don't know how everybody's gonna feel about this, but on the reality is your spouse or your mom. Would you choose your spouse over your mom, or would you choose your mom over your spouse? This is a very, very sensitive issue, guys. Honestly, I want us to be careful about how we like. I mean, it does not matter anyways, but it is.
But you have to be very careful with a topic like this because you're talking to Africans,
Exactly.
right? So like you know how it is. Like it's like a taboo to like pick either. If you have a spouse and you have a what was the other thing you said?
Your spouse or your mom.
And your mom, like that's very, 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 very like a very, very
Well,
And it's very
sensitive
situation
topic.
dependent as
Yeah,
well.
very,
Depends.
very
Situation
what scenario.
dependent.
Right.
What
I
scenario?
think
What
I
is
would
the scenario?
I think I would start by saying if you were married to somebody, in a relationship with somebody, there's a certain level the person would like. The person has their own place. Your mom has their own place. There are boundaries that the both of them should not cross in any way. This is the love of my life. This is my wife. This is my mother, the person that brought me to life. I love her so much. And there's some things that are just supposed not to be done. There's some boundaries that you should never and ever cross. You get what I mean? But as Africans, maybe our African mothers might be extra about some certain things. There's some things that they're not even up to the level of being yelled out over it. But most African moms are just extra about it. Why? Because most of them don't have exposure. Honestly, let's be honest. They don't have exposure to the world. They haven't seen the world. They're just in Nigeria and they're just like restricted to the Nigerian mentality. You get what I mean?
I think we're all restricted to the Nigerian.
We're all, but
we're just trying. We these ones are
question is
trying
not
to be
answered anyway.
westernized. We're still all restricted because we still do what our parents tell us to do in a certain kind of way. Like we disagree, we try to disagree, we try to see it, but like we still have to see it their way because with how they grew up, you can't even blame them, right? And you have to also think of the other person that you're talking about. Let's say the guy now. Let's say a situation with the man and his wife or something, and the family is saying throw her out or something like that. You have to think his own mindset. Is he the kind of man that listens to what his family has to say, or is he the kind of man that his mind is open enough to see things from another side, right? Like African men are trained to like see things one certain kind of way. Like you can't think out the box because that's
amazing.
really bad
That's
for you.
artful.
Pardon me?
The situation is like that both performing different duties in my life, but as of now, I'm going to pick my mom because my spouse can easily be replaced.
Okay, what about the nearest future? In the
Spouse is
future,
your wife, no?
Yeah, you can get divorced, you can remarry, but I cannot divorce my mom. I cannot get another mom.
my mom
As
is
of
my
now,
mom.
as of my age now, with my mindset now, I'm going to pick my mom.
Right.
Maybe when I fall in love and marry, then I can now say no.
But like, what if
I'm
you are
gonna pick.
married?
Wait, because it's
That's what I'm saying. As of now, I'm gonna pick my
Okay,
mom.
that makes sense.
No
Okay.
matter what,
Right.
I'm gonna pick my mom.
What
Even if you were
if it-
married.
Even if I'm married right now, I'm going to pick my mom. Because what's the guarantee that in the next 5 years?
Okay, but why did you marry somebody you feel like
You can replace.
You can replace. Like,
Sorry,
you're
that's-
already saying like
be
you already
realistic
plan
with.
to replace the girl.
Just be realistic in life. You can your spouse can be replaced. God forbid
But-
you can lose your spouse. That does not mean you're not going to remarry in 10 years. You guys can grow out of love. Anything can happen.
It's
But
just
your mother's
saying,
love
different.
you can never outgrown that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
People-
but what if it was a situation where you tried to like coexist?
Like both of them are existing
Yeah.
together.
Like it doesn't have to be a situation where like one person has to be totally out of the
Like
box.
they have
because
a
if you think
fight
about
or
it,
something.
Like think about it, right? Your
So-
mom is always going to be there.
Yeah.
Right?
So you're thinking,
your
let's
bro-
say they have a fight and I have to pick a side.
right.
I'm not going to pick a side. I'm just going to like resolve the matter in a mature way that I don't have to like alter anyone.
But somebody will be hurt at the end of the day. An African mom. If you at the end of the day,
I just think that if you have, no, I'm not trying to offend anyone, but if you have a reasonable mom, your mom is going to know her place and your wife is going to know
that's
her
exactly
That
my
is a good
point.
point.
That's
That is
exactly
also a
my
good
So it
point.
depends on both people. Right?
Both
Yes.
people depends on the
Depends on
person
your
you're
mom.
actually dealing with. In my opinion, at the end of the situation depends. Like I said, the boundary has to be like it has to be respected. It has to be
Yeah, that makes sense.
on both sides. It has to be like, oh, this is my son's wife. Or this is my mother-in-law. This is my mother. At the end of the day, mothers appreciate it when the wife of their sons take them as their own mother. Not everybody does that.
This situation only come up when let's say you get married to someone, let's say your wife doesn't have a good relationship with your mom, or your mom doesn't even like the person you get married to.
At all,
This
right.
is when this conflict
This-
starts.
Yeah.
But if your mom really likes who you are married
It
to,
won't
she
even
treats
happen.
your wife like a daughter. and they don't even they won't even put you in a situation you have to choose,
and they won't have to have no differences. That is exactly my point.
I have a question though. So like, you know how if the mother and the wife doesn't get along, most times it's always the wife who they expect to like calm down for the mother. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Like nobody, like the guy probably won't tell his mom, oh this like he's most likely going to tell his wife to just accommodate my mom. That's how she is. Just accommodate her.
Yeah, you too, Mrs. Accommodation.
They always tell the woman.
You know before you get married, but you know before you get married, if you are going to be accommodating the mother, be the Mrs. Accommodation, be accommodating her. You know what you're getting yourself into.
At the end of the day, what your marriage is at stake here. At the end of the day, you want to protect your home.
You have to be understanding, and he's expecting you to be understanding. That's why they're cautioning the women.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but he has to stand up to his mom sometimes.
Like they will. Like that's the thing. Like
you know sometimes
it will, but
he has to talk to you first.
Behind closed doors.
Wife, right? You have to calm down first. You have to understand the situation first. Then he's gonna talk to his mom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And if he's talking to his mom, he would never talk to his mom in front of his wife. Right. Maybe behind closed doors or whatever thing.
Right. Listen, to be honest, when you marry someone, you're making a commitment to that person. Now you're now committing to your mom. This is a new family that let's say you have children. Let's say you've started a family with this person, and this person gets into an argument with your mother. You're not gonna be like, oh, you guys, wife, kids, get out, be going. You have to, like, that's your family now. Mm-hmm. Those are your priorities. So you have to figure out a way to accordingly, figure out things between the two of them.
That's your immediate
so that you're not picking sides.
Just because you're married doesn't mean you have like that. Your mom is still part of your family. You guys are one family. You don't have, just because of your marriage doesn't exclude your mom from your family.
No, it's not like that.
But there's the nuclear family and the extended family. At the end of the day, your immediate family, that is your own home. I get where it's coming from.
Your own home.
You guys are one family, and I think that honestly, this topic is, like I said before, when you're about to get married, they introduce like the wife and the mother-in-law, everything together. You don't just meet your mother-in-law the day you get married. You know the kind of person you are marrying. You know you are marrying a mad woman. You know you are marrying a crazy woman, and you put yourself inside that relationship, and you expect your coward husband to come and be defending you. Sorry, you are deceiving yourself.
Saka for the win. Update.
Well, Saka, thank you very much.
Oh my God, that was a lot.
Crazy,
know what to do.
We run away.
JP. That's it. But what do you guys think about, like, what is your own personal, like, your would you choose your mom or your husband, your mom or your spouse?
Me, I'm choosing both, or like I can't
honestly
pick.
I feel like I would probably choose my spouse, to be honest.
Update.
I really do feel so.
Why would you choose your spouse?
Because my mom is so understanding. Like I feel like
then you expect that to understand.
So she will understand.
Exactly. You expect that to understand.
That makes sense.
Your husband also thinks you are very understanding, so he's going to expect you to understand too.
So
that's if his mom is not a psycho.
Guys, like I can't pick. I'm gonna go for both. Like both or nothing. Like
exactly.
I love my mom to death, and if I'm with someone, I have to give that same person the same respect, the same love. Like I can't just like pick. No, it's unfair to both.
I can't choose. I'm sorry. I love my mom so much. I also respect my husband. I have to give him the respect he deserves.
We're done this questions. We have the relationship segment, the sexual segment, and we have the reality segment, which everyone kind of like put in their own piece, and I really do appreciate that. Everybody did great. And what I thought, in my own opinion, something that has been going on in this city, Toronto, that I kind of like want to bring here to kind of like find a way to see how it can like not happen again, or it can reduce. What do you think about people fighting in a club, in a public, people fighting outside in general, especially in the club, and especially ladies? What do you think about that?
Why are they fighting?
So fighting in the club, I've seen it before many times, and I'm not gonna lie, the majority of the time it is women. I don't know why.
Okay.
I don't think there's any specific reason.
Why do you guys have to gender?
Everybody comes to the club.
But those are the people who fight and
that's just who I see.
Throw fight every time. Speed,
Speech,
throw wins every time.
I'm with him though. Like with what he said, like I feel like it goes like when I go to clubs, sometimes I see men fight a lot too, and I barely see women. I've seen only just one woman fight, and it was because the guy actually provoked her. right? So it goes both ways. So men are actually the ones still making trouble. And
Apart
women are making trouble too.
from women versus men, there are girls that actually come to the club to fight each other. They beat each other in the club.
They'll know, oh, this baby's coming.
That's what
They
I'm
have-
saying.
they have
Women
gifts.
fight too.
Or they
Me,
have something.
I'm not. Nobody is holy. I'm not clean. Like I would say I have never fought in the club before. I would never, but it happened before. I just had to step in, and I regret my actions. It's not something I
So
should
like,
do.
what are your
about?
opinions now about fighting in the club?
Fighting in the club is not supposed to happen. You're not supposed. There are other ways that you can attack or actually address situations apart from fighting, especially in the club.
Like my opinion is, I feel like fighting in general is bad. I don't think it should happen. I feel like everyone should have a little self-control in them.
And decency.
Self-respect, decency, at least. Like,
At least don't
forget
fight
the
in
fighting.
public.
You know what makes it worse in the club?
Right.
Because people are already intoxicated.
Exactly.
You are not in your normal
Alcohol
sense.
Right, and that is why
Now-
you shouldn't even like address anything like that in the first place. Like you as a person, even before you start getting intoxicated, if you know the kind of person that gets like upset over like the slightest things, don't go into situations like that. Don't overdrink. And to be honest, fighting, just for me, like
Say no to
personally,
fighting.
Well,
is
it's
bad.
so
Say no to
I
fighting.
support
It could
what
go
you
bad.
said.
Someone could die. People die from fighting, stabbing, and
Close.
just
So guys,
like-
please let's try as much as possible to stop
Violence,
fighting in general, especially in the clubs and in public places. Saka, I
I
know you
support
have.
what you said, but some people are born to be entertainers. Some people are born to entertain us. Like Yoruba people used to say, "We're doing war, bokoshe bilomo."
I like
some
that.
people are born to entertain us.
But honestly, if you feel like you're a fighter, why not go to the ring? Go be a professional fighter. If you want to be a fighter, start a career with fighting.
No violence, honestly.
No violence at all. But if you really want to fight, you like to fight. You want Anthony Joshua, you want Mayweather. You want to fight very well. Then take it as a profession. Like
It depends.
go start training about it instead
depends
of
on the
fighting
setting.
outside.
Let me tell you
Right,
something that happened
right.
recently to me. So I play soccer. I'm a soccer player, right? And there was a situation where the other team was they were a little bit racist. Let me not lie. And like there were a group of white players who were mostly black, and there was one specific player who was just kind of kicking our players. You know how it is in football, and it's normal. Like you get up, you keep playing the game. Fouls are bound to happen, but they fouled my player, right? And then he hasn't done anything. He's just, getting up, dusting himself off, and then they push him. And that's where I'm the type of person I defend people. I defend like my teammates. I defend people like that. So I came into it. I don't fight, but I pushed their player, and that started a whole big thing. And then it kind of simmered down again, and then it started again. But when you're defending someone, it's a little bit different for me. Like me, I defend my people. Like
when you're
if you start
defending
something,
someone,
finish it, man.
You can defend though, like if you're like separating, like you're like dissolving the situation.
Not
It's a
making
different,
it-
not like increasing the fire.
Yeah, but
like,
if somebody throws
You're
a punch at me,
de-escalating.
if somebody
Yes.
throws a punch at me, man, you guys you have something coming.
No, but
too, bro.
situation that happened
That's
to
me,
me,
that's
which
me,
wasn't
sir.
supposed to happen. Honestly, I got in a fight, and you would never see me get in a fight. You fight, I run. What happened was I was trying to defend somebody, like he said to,
that's-
and the only reason why I stepped up was I thought I assumed, or I thought this guy was trying to beat the girl, which is close to me and
Yeah.
actually means something to me.
And that
I
is-
tried to
that's
stop the
understandable.
fight, and I thought. The only reason why I stepped in was I thought the guy was gonna eat the girl. I'm like, this is not happening in my watch. It would never ever happen, especially to someone I care about. So that was why I stepped in. At the end of the day, it turned out that the guy was not even trying to beat her. But I thought the guy was trying to be the girl. Then I stepped
But
in the fight.
honestly, in my
Well, I mean-
opinion, I feel like regardless, even if you're defending somebody or not, if you're defending, please dissolve the fight. Don't tell me you're
Right.
defending
I mean-
to fight. Like
Right.
you are just making situations
That's
worse.
never the
Mm.
And
intention.
you're
When
putting
it-
your life at risk for stupid. To me, it's so stupid. Like, if somebody wants to fight you, please if you can't call Uber, just run away.
I won't-
Like,
But
just
what if
disappear
you're
from the
what
scene.
if you're trying to defend and the other person is trying to take a fight?
Well,
Continue running because I don't like. Why
Can't
do
be
you
me,
even want
man.
to?
Can't.
Saka is
They
about to
can
explode.
They can
I'm
punch
not
you
going
and
to
then that's
defend
it. Like,
anybody. I'm not going to
I'm
defend
not
anybody.
defending nobody.
I
If you
don't.
want to throw hands, good luck.
I
I'm out.
if you're gonna fight or they're gonna beat you or you don't expect me to come and defend you. Learn how to protect yourself. Don't wait for any Prince Charming to come and be saving you every time. Me, I'm not going to defend anybody. They're gonna beat you up in my front. I don't care because I'm not gonna take punch from you. I'm not going to take punch from you.
Prepared.
I'm not going to. No way. I'm not going to have a blue eye.
Crazy shit.
I can't fight. I don't fight. So I'm not going to defend you.
So
Yeah,
if there's
bad.
fight,
I don't
JP.
I just
So
sit down.
this topic that I brought up is honestly not to attack anybody. It is not to portray somebody as a fighter, but it's just to stop fighting, because violence is bad. Honestly, fighting is something that should stop in the world, especially in our community. Let's try as much as possible to control ourselves.
Sometimes you have to fight. Just be honest.
If you need to fight, let's go pro, man. Go on the ring. You think you're a fighter? Let's go on the ring. Let's fight.
If you're fighting to defend yourself, for me it's okay. If you're fighting to defend yourself, it's fine. If you didn't start the fight, because sometimes you have to defend yourself. Honestly, you have to defend yourself sometimes, unless people take advantage of you. Sorry. Yeah. Sometimes you have to fight. You have to defend yourself.
You have to fight. You have to defend yourself.
You can avoid it.
Avoid it, then it's going to happen all over again.
No, like that's what I'm saying.
Run away. Then the next time the person see you,
they'll come
like,
again.
No, like forget the whole I don't know how to say it, but I'm just not with the whole fighting and violence thing.
No violence.
I don't know how else to describe it. I feel like human beings should have, or oh my god, what am I saying? Okay, should have self-control and should be content and contained when like interacting. Like confrontations are okay. Like explain how you feel, talk about it, but like how do you get low to a point where you have to like, you know,
when they throw the first punch at you and you're still trying to concentrate and explain yourself.
Don't let it get too far. You have to avoid situations like that. You can sense when a person is when a situation is.
You know when you're trying to explain yourself, that's when things get worse. Because you're trying to say something, the person is understanding another thing. Miscommunication.
Yeah, it's what I'm saying. Like expect the situation.
Depends on the situation.
Walk away. Like there's a chance to actually walk away.
Sometimes you have to defend yourself.
That's a violent person. That's when you have to call the police. That's where people get involved, right? Because it's not your fault.
Before the police even get there, you're already on the floor. 911 is here already.
In Sarah's opinion, no justification for fighting. In Pisaya's opinion, no justification for fighting. In Saka's opinion, if you have to fight,
exactly.
Fight. In my opinion, honestly, I feel like if you have to fight, but don't even let it get to the point that you have to fight.
You're promoting violence if you say you have to fight.
I am not saying that. No, you don't have to. Honestly, I don't.
It's always a choice.
Try to avoid it, but sometimes you're explaining yourself. Before you finish explaining yourself, you're already in the ICU. When you have to protect yourself, please
when you have to defend yourself. Self-defense is not bad.
Yes.
Self-defense. Okay, let's say self-defense. If somebody's trying to attack you, self-defense is not bad, but try not to be in that position where you're defending yourself. But at the end of the day, overall, either Saka says you should fight, either I say you should fight, either Sarah says don't fight. Overall, say no to violence. Violence is bad. Let's try as much as possible to stay away from it. Let's keep our life, please. Wallahi. That's a wrap. Thank you guys for coming. And this is, if it's your first time stopping by on my channel, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, thumbs up, and thank you guys so much. I hope you enjoyed this episode and these beautiful faces out here.
Comment down below what
do you think about the question. And don't forget, live session for Scopatumana is going to be 24 hours after this episode drops, so that we can get more interaction and see what people think about these topics that we have spoken about. Love you guys. Thank you guys. Peace out.